Well, hello, Power Ginsburg Jaguars. This is Dr. Alvarado, principal of Bullard High School. Proud principal of Bullard High School, I should say. I am so happy for the opportunity to be able to do something that I absolutely love to do, and that is to read. Read, and a joy of reading is probably the best thing someone can do. And the way you get better at it is you just continue to practice to read. This week, as we celebrate Read Across America, I want to share a book with you that happens to be one of my most favorite books. It is written in a children's version as well as an adult version. And the name of this book that I'd like to read to you is How Full is Your Bucket? The idea being that when you say something nice to someone, you fill their bucket and you make them feel good and better. And it also allows you to feel better because you're actually doing that. But here's the most interesting thing of all, that when you do something good for someone else, they feel good, you feel good, and anyone that sees you doing that, they feel good also. So we can spread a lot of goodness, a lot of good feelings to a lot of different people just by doing something nice. So here's the story of this book, How Full is Your Bucket? And it starts off like this. Felix was putting one of his last blocks on his tower when his little sister came in. I want to build with you, she said. Felix scowled. Go away, you're too little. And there's the picture of the Tower of Blocks. Let's go ahead and turn the page and see what happens. I'm big, said his sister. Stay back, you'll knock it over. I can be very careful, she said. Go play with your baby toys, Anna. And there's Anna, upset. And thwack, she takes her doll and crashes the towers down, or the block of towers down. Let's turn the page and see what happens next. Grandpa, Anna says, or he says, because he's upset. Grandpa shook his head. Felix, you just dipped from your sister's bucket. Like everyone else, Anna has an invisible bucket. When it's empty, she feels bad. But when it's full, she feels great. Didn't you ever notice your own bucket? I like that idea of thinking that everyone has an invisible bucket. And how often are we filling it or taking away from it? But the next morning, when Felix woke up, there it was, a small gray bucket floating above his head. He's starting to think about that now, right? That's kind of the idea. Wait, where's my bucket? Oh, there it is. When Felix came down to have breakfast, his mom was in a hurry. I've got a meeting this morning and it's almost time to go. Anna, sit still. And then there's the brother, Felix, reaching for a cereal box. Uh-oh, it looks like it's falling. There's that invisible bucket on top of Felix's head. Felix slipped and choco wheat scattered across the floor. Felix, yelled his mom, you should have used the stool to reach that. Felix could feel his bucket tip and big invisible drips spill out. Drip, drip. Ha ha, Anna laughed as she crunched the cereal with her shoe. Drip. Get the broom and clean that up before you miss the bus, scolded Mom. With the school bus honking, Felix quickly swept up the choco wheats and grabbed the last blueberry muffin. But before he could even take one bite, Buster jumped up and grabbed the muffin from his hand. Drip. If you get it, the drip means water's coming out of his bucket and it's making Felix feel bad. Hey, look at Felix's new backpack. My baby brother has one just like it. Drip, people making fun of his backpack. Psst, Felix. Psst. Felix thinks people are talking about him in the corner. Drip. Watch out, Shrimp. Somebody calling Felix a name. Drip. It's not going too well for Felix right now, is it? And there they are, a crowd of people. It was still morning, and Felix's bucket felt almost empty. Look at that. Almost an empty bucket. How do you think Felix is feeling? Yeah, not too good. As he watched his classmates walk into the room, he secretly hoped they would trip and fall. Uh-oh. That's what it feels like when you have an empty bucket, meaning that you're not thinking positively anymore. You're starting to maybe think a little bit mean. Felix slumped into his seat and waited for something else bad to happen. Mrs. Bumblenickel, what a name. Mrs. Bumblenickel walked slowly up to his desk and handed him a paper. He could hardly bear to look. Felix, you wrote a wonderful story. Would you please share it with the class? Felix grinned and felt a big drop land right in his bucket. Drop, drop, plop, plink, drop. The Giganosaurus who wanted a pet by me, Felix. The class grew quiet. They laughed at all the right places and oohed at the scary parts. When Felix finally read the end, everyone clapped, even Emily, who sat next to him and didn't usually like dinosaurs. Felix felt a whole shower of drops in his bucket. Maybe the day wouldn't be so bad after all. So I'm going to stop there. And one of the things that I hope you can take away from this short story is that when you do something good for somebody, you say something positive to someone else, you make them feel good, you feel better and proud about how you made someone feel. And then don't forget, it always makes somebody else feel good as well. So won't you do that today? Won't you try your best to fill someone's bucket? Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.